Nigerians have been applauding the Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy, describing it as a significant milestone in promoting grassroots development, good governance, and democratic decentralization in Nigeria. The verdict is the focus on Panorama today. Gains of local government autonomy in democratic system and task ahead. Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us on Panorama, reaching you live from the Nigerian Television Authority Enugu Network Center. I am Comfort Ayim. Joint Task Force Operation Delta Safe says no stone will be left unturned until criminals involved in oil theft are reduced to the barest minimum, if not stopped, in the Niger Delta region. The Commander Joint Task Force South Operation Delta Safe, Rear Admiral John Okeke, stated this at the Task Force headquarters, Igbogene, Bayelsa State, while parading two suspects who have been facilitating illegal oil theft in the region. Deni Kume Ulolo was there and now report. 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 Ulolo was there and now report.
Reality within the joint operation area. Task Force Commander Rear Admiral John Okeke says the troops of the Joint Task Force South Operation Delta Safe early on Tuesday morning, upon credible intelligence, stormed Port Harcourt resident of the ringleader and one other suspect of a syndicate which specializes on printing fake documents for stolen crude oil in the Operation Delta Safe joint operation area.
Suspect has confessed to the procuring of fake waybills, for illegal sales of crude oil and the diversion of stolen crude from pipelines. As Commander, Joint Task Force South Operation Delta Safe, I've made it clear that no stone will be left unturned until criminal in the joint operation area is totally eradicated or reduced to barest minimum.
Documents recovered from one of the suspects include fake stamps of some associations and waybills, forged identity card, proxy, fake receipt, and fake certificates.
It has been since 2011. I used to have my Oga.
Your Oga from where?
From Kaduna State, but he's dead. It is not genuine.
The commander says the suspects will subsequently face prosecution after necessary investigation. Earlier, the commander played host to some youth group who are committed to assisting the task force in the fight against oil theft within the Joint Task Force operation area. From Igbogide, headquarters of Operation Delta Safe, Yanukume Ulolo, NTA News.
20,500 Nigerians are parading fake certificates obtained from Benin Republic and Togo between 2019 and 2023. Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, disclosed this at a media briefing on the ministry's strides since assumption of office. He says over 21,600 obtained the certificate from unaccredited universities in Benin Republic within the time frame, while about 1,105 obtained theirs at some uncredited universities in Togo. He notes that some of the numbers were harvested from records of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, and other sources.
Is that any person, the Secretary of the Government will issue a circular to all employers, whether it is public or private, to fish out anybody with certificate from these institutions. That circular probably would have been out by now. And the same thing, the head of service is mandated to fish out in the public service, in the civil service, anybody who is parading certificates from all these institutions.
Representatives of the federal government, led by Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, will on Monday meet with officials of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and other relevant stakeholders to meet minds on issues of interest to all parties.
Right. Please, let us understand the language of ASU. ASU, they are very legalistic. They follow the law to its. What ASU has done so far is to declare a trade dispute with the government and give the government 21 days. We've been busy since we got that, submission from them, and hopefully we are positive that it will reach the stage that they will go on strike.
That most of the contentious issues dates back to 1981 and that most of the grievances have been attended to. And President Bola Tinubu sympathized with the government and the people of Jigawa State over the recent incident of flooding across the state. The president's sympathy message was delivered at the government house in Dutse by the Minister of Defense, Muhammad Abubakar, assuring the Jigawa state government of continuous support to reduce the plight of the victims. Muhammad Musa Askira brings us details.
The flood has left in its trail 33 fatality, 7,500 houses collapsed, 11,500 farmlands submerged in the 148 communities affected across the 14 local government areas in the state. Commensurating with the government and the victims in the state, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, represented by the Defense Minister Muhammad Badru Abubakar, said the federal government will stand with Jigawa State in these trying moments.
The president is aware of this problem and he will support the government of Jigawa State to make sure that the reoccurrence of these problems did not continue.
We provide food items, we provide bathings, we provide medications, we provide clean water, and we provide also conveniences.
The minister has announced his personal donation of 20 naira to support the victims in Dutse. Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Administrative efficiency, accountability, and responsiveness to local needs are some of the identified gains of granting autonomy to the local government administration. According to stakeholders, this freedom comes with some responsibilities on the local government administrators. Susan Eze has more.
Over the years, the ideal position and status of the local government as a third tier of government have been of constant debate. These debates hinge primarily on the autonomy status of the local government. With the recent Supreme Court ruling giving the local governments the authority to independently manage their finances, many applaud the judgment, stating that it has opened a new vista of hope for rural development.
This autonomy of the local government will give the local government the power to do asphalt roads, to do drainages, to build health centers. These are the things local government will do. For me and for people of like minds, it is a welcome development.
To ensure that the financial power granted the local authorities are not abused, analysts advise proper checks and balances as rights come with obligations.
The chairman will have the full capacity to operate. The finances will come, and if he misbehaves or misappropriates the funds, they will be held accountable.
For proper consolidation of democracy, local government autonomy, they say, is a right step in the right direction.
We also need to have the respective state independent electoral commissions abolished and scrapped. Once we do this, in democracy, you can never say it is perfect, but we will have it relatively right.
As Nigerians see the Supreme Court verdict on local government autonomy as a major milestone in Nigeria's democratic journey, hopes are high that this will drive accelerated grassroots development across the country. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
That background report brings us to our discussion on Panorama today. And with the studio to do justice to this burning issue is a political analyst and former chairman of the local government area in the state, Dr. Nicholas Obim Ozonsi. Good afternoon. Good to see you, sir, on Panorama.
Good afternoon, presenter, and good afternoon, listeners.
Let's begin with the message behind the Supreme Court verdict on local government autonomy.
Okay. We Nigerians are thanking the Supreme Court for granting autonomy to the local governments. Majority of Nigerians, even before the judgment was delivered, were actually clamoring for autonomy of local governments. And at the end of the day, the Supreme Court came up with a verdict affirming the autonomy of local government. And now that the autonomy has come, people are expecting a grassroots communication between the local government and the people. People are expecting infrastructural development. People are expecting, a lot of changes now that there is financial autonomy. People are expecting that many roads should be built.
Before we talk about expectation, can you please throw more light on local government autonomy? What does it tell us? What does it mean?
Okay. Now, the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria of 1990 Constitution stipulated the functions of local governments, and this function of local government is spread across the 774 local governments in Nigeria. So it's not peculiar to only one local government. And the functions of this local government, if you look at it, the local government are not, autonomous. They work under the supervisions of the state governments. And as they're working under the supervision of the local government, of the state government, there are things they cannot do both financially and administratively. So now that the court has given verdict that the local government should have a financial autonomy, that is receiving their destined allocation from the federal government, I think the bulk of the responsibility of administration in local government lies now on the heads of the local government chairman, and it's a winning for democracy, and also the autonomy itself is going to be a kind of an eye-opener to everybody from the grassroots, that's the communities and the local government, even the states. And of course, it's going to expose a lot of things, especially those that are doing well and those that will not do well at the local government level. And this also may attract the graft agencies, especially when mismanagement of funds start coming up. So it's a lot, it has a lot to do. And not only being autonomous, like I've always said in most of the programs I attend, financial autonomy differs from administrative autonomy. But when we get to that, we'll discuss about it.
Let's talk about it. Differences.
Yes, I keep saying that financial autonomy differs from administrative autonomy. That local government is receiving the allocation directly from the federal government differs from when we used to have what we call the JAC. That's the Joint Account Committee of the...
In what ways? In decision making, or can you
I am coming, yes.
Okay.
The administrative autonomy I'm talking about is that as a local government chairman, it still remains that there are things you cannot initiate at the local government level to avoid clashes with the state. For instance, you may take up a project from somewhere without knowing that the state government also is having the same project at your local government. You may decide to carry out one program or the other. If there are no intergovernmental relationship between the local government and the state, you find out that there's going to be problem. Not only that, before you can emerge as a local government chairman in your state, well, the state governors, they're always very careful to know who comes into the local government and who goes out of the local government. So no governor will allow a recalcitrant or an enemy or somebody who is careless to come into the local government, even though it's a local government, but it's a local government in a state. So they must be checkmated by the state authority, no matter what the autonomy is. That's why I said financial autonomy differs from administrative autonomy. There are a lot of things that the local government chairman cannot get up to do without consulting the state. That does not mean that you don't have your financial autonomy. It is left with you to know, how you manage your finance. It's when the graph agencies comes up to ask what is happening between the finance and you, then it's only then that you come up to answer questions.
Okay, let's talk about the impact now.
Yes, the impact of local government autonomy is enormous. Are you getting me? So, one is that it brings development to the grassroots. It allows intergovernmental relationship between the state and, of course, the government. It also exposes the communities closer to the local where know what is happening. Development comes up. Even most of the roads have never been built in many years. It will allow the local people to have roads, to have hospitals, to have schools, and some other amenities. Not only that, it will give more strength to the local government chairman, at least to a great extent, even though there are no administrative autonomy. But it will give them some strength, at least, to govern or to administer their local government.
So what would be your message to the local government?
Well, my message to the local government is that this is a time to be careful. It's a time for them to put their eyes down, and then whatever be the takeable they spend at the local government should be justified. It's a time for them to develop their local government. It's a time for them to relate with the people at the grassroots. It's a time to give the people the dividends of democracy. It's a time also to at least showcase themselves for another position after working at the local government.
Thank you very much. Dr. Obim Ozonse, a political analyst and former chairman of the local government area in Enugu State. We thank you once again for coming to do justice on this burning issue. Thank you. Let's take a break now. When we return, Panorama continues. Do join us again. State government says it will commence implementation of the state anti-noise pollution policy effective from November this year. The resolution was reached after a stakeholders engaged on how to contain noise pollution emission by religious organizations and entertainment centers in the metropolis. Chika Ubu reports.
According to the chairman, ECTDA, the state government received over 1,000 complaints of noise pollution within the metropolis, depriving residents of their sleep. To address the menace, religious leaders and owners of entertainment centers were invited to find solution to the problem. Mr. Anya said henceforth, entertainment centers situated in residential areas will be shut down, except already existing buildings with approval from government, with a condition to use acoustics to avoid emitting noise.
We set aside all the world-leading urban cities, and what we were discussing is how to prepare these big cities to confront the challenges of climate change, which is already dealing with us. So it was resolved that we must embrace green cities. It means that we must live our life in a smart way, eliminating all manner of pollutions. The biggest problem we have now in Enugu is noise pollution.
Stakeholders at the meeting promised to abide by the rule.
It is our duty to regulate the sound within our prayer premises so that we will not encroach into the rights and the peace of our neighbors.
Yes, no way you can take church or take noise away from the church.
Meanwhile, some government officials pointed out other activities which the authority needs to address.
We have mechanics all over the city. They need to be relocated. We have people building gates all over the city, defacing the city outlook. And we can never be good if we continue to see Every nook and cranny of Enugu, you see people building welders all over the place.
After the meeting, the ECTDA came to a resolution that all speakers situated outside the buildings of various worship centers be removed, with a promise to place adequate notice before implementing the anti-noise pollution regulation and implementation build to commence in 90 days. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Enugu women stakeholders is expanding the frontier of the August meeting to community service in collaboration with the Federal Road Safety Corps to foster awareness on safety rules for Enugu residents. President General Nkechi Agobuzo, who led the women, want the authority to address the issue of overloading, which not only affects the vehicle's performance, but also puts other road users at risk. The report. The community service began at the Federal Road Safety Sector Command, where the Enugu women stakeholders honored the Zonal Commanding Officer, Zone 9, alongside Enugu Sector Commander for the significant role they play in nation building, citing the incident of August 14, 2024 road crash at Diamond Estate, Enugu, where the road safety personnel rescued and recovered items of victims, including huge amount of money and a mobile phone.
Women taking the lead, our husbands will hear us better, our children will hear us better, and the society, Enugu, will hear us better.
Don't drink and drive, don't answer phone calls while driving, don't eat while driving, respect other road users, quarrel with your husband or wife before driving, and always do routine checks on your car. These and more were the messages the women took to the street. The growing burden of overloading of human and vehicle, which not only affect the vehicles but also put other road users at risk, was also raised as a significant concern for the Road Safety Authority.
Get to New Market roundabout, you see obstruction everywhere. Vehicles are parked where they're not supposed to park, picking passengers where they're not supposed to pick. But today, it's a thing of the past. You go there now, the road there is very free.
We also arrest them. So these are some of the things that we are putting in place. And then we do not even stop our enlightenment at the parks. We extend to the churches, to the mosques, and to all areas where you have large gathering of drivers or large gathering of persons, so we can talk to them.
The sensitization tour is a continuation of the August meeting flagged off by the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. On sports, Samson Siasia returns to football-related activities after 75 years FIFA ban in a novelty match in Abuja, commemorating his birthday anniversary. For details and more, let's join Suleiman Musa on Sports Update. On behalf of myself and the production crew, we thank you for watching. Do stay with us for the rest of our programs. Good afternoon.